Ferentz Rodeo at the Cinch World's Toughest Rodeo, January 10th and 11th at Wells Fargo Arena. It's rodeo and a whole lot more. Come early for autographs, pony rides, and more. See more action, the best entertainment, and be part of the fun. It's too great to wait. Get tickets now at HiVTix.com. It's wild, it's western, it's pro rodeo at the Cinch World's Toughest Rodeo, January 10th and 11th.
Attention all campers.
Keith Murphy.
What I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Andy Fales.
I'm telling you straight, it's my way or the highway.
Powered by AD.
Just a bit outside.
Murph and Andy. Proudly presented by Ramsey Subaru and BMW of Des Moines. Live and on demand across Iowa everywhere from the Channel Seed Studios. Murph and Andy. Connected by Cellular Advantage.
Hey, welcome to Murph and Andy on a fun Friday here in the Channel Seed Studio. Alongside Andy Fales, I'm Keith Murphy, but you know who's not here is Andrew Downs, Matt Van Winkle. Hi, Matt, in for AD today. And guys, we're here. The rest of Iowa everywhere is on the way to Las Vegas. What's happening? Why are we left out? Seniority?
We have TV ratings booked, so we can't go anywhere in the month of November. That and probably a million other things, right? We've got busier lives, I think.
Matt, you have seniority.
Certainly have busier life than Scott Sipker does.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Jeez.
I've been out to Vegas with those guys before, and I think I'm safer back here.
So in Vegas, they're going to 𝗀cie.
Correct.
There's a music festival. There's an F1 Formula One race in Vegas this weekend. And 𝗀cie like rolls out the limos and red carpet.
Check this out.
And
this was from the last
stuff.
time that those guys were out there.
So you shot this video?
This was this was not me. This was the very first time they went out there without me. Hassel went out. I think Bloom was on this trip. So yeah, there's
oh my gosh,
heaven out
I've
there.
been to that 𝗀cie a couple of times, and that sports book, unless you have attention deficit disorder, it's incredible. Because it is a lot. The pool. Look at this.
You could just melt into your chair watching sports.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. So they're having fun out there. And, of course, all of this leads us to a quickie poll from WCI Pools and Spas with locations in Ames and Urbandale. Who would you most like to party with for a weekend in Las Vegas? Chris and Chris, Andy and me. Producers, that's AD, Matt, and Aiden, or Sipker and Ross Peterson. Ross Peterson is on this trip.
Yeah, I'm offended by this poll.
What's that?
I'm offended by this. I'm only at 7%.
How are you trending right now?
Well, 7% for me. You and Chris were tied neck and neck there for a while, but they're pulling away.
Yeah, somehow they're finding a way to stuff the ballot. I don't even know how you do that with a vote, but they're doing it. Let me make a case for us. Okay, it's Andy and me in Vegas. I go to Vegas more than Andy does, but Andy's fun. He likes to drink. He's a good storyteller. He's going to make you laugh. We both, now that Andy's out of the mornings, we both stay up late. So we're going to have a good time. We'll go watch sports, but we won't just sit there the entire time. I think we'd be fun. Andy, don't you think we'd be fun?
I don't know, man. We're pretty old. Honestly, I understand.
Well, I'm older than you.
I understand what people are saying. I've been to Las Vegas once, and I feel like that's the only the crowd of people that I went with. That's probably the only crowd that I think I would want to go back with. Vegas is it's obnoxiously expensive. It's like expensive on purpose. It doesn't need to be that expensive. It just does so that it can say that it's expensive, I think. It's a lot. I mean, it's amazing. The shows are 10 times better than anywhere else. the people watching is 10 times better than anywhere else. I mean,
It's like you're not even in a real place.
No, it's not like a real world.
It's like make believe.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Truman Show and Disney World got together for adults and made like a cyborg. You want to go with people who are party animals, into the nightlife, people who are attractive, and people who are rich. That's the combination
us.
That's the combination
All of those
that you
things,
want
us.
when you go. If you go to if you go, unless you're in your 20s, do not go with a bunch of people that don't have any money. I mean, do not do that. You will have a horrible time. You won't get in anywhere. You'll be trying to live Vegas on the cheap, which is got to be one of the hardest things to do.
You got to get off the strip. When I first started going to Vegas, people in their 20s would go to Vegas because it was a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, the buffets, the steaks, anywhere you gambled, they would bring you drinks as long as you were gambling. And you could, if you didn't let the gambling get away from you, because those shiny buildings are there because most people don't win, but you could go pretty inexpensively. Now, as you point out, the strip is like this place to be seen for celebrities, and there's all these residencies and these famous music artists charging $500 a ticket to see them in concert, and it's completely changed on the main strip. But here's why, even though we're old and I'm the oldest, I think people should choose us, Andy. You go with 𝗀cie. Here's the first thing to consider if you're going with 𝗀cie.
Hates people.
Yeah. He doesn't like people.
Nope.
You want to go to Las Vegas with a guy that doesn't like people?
Yeah, he doesn't want to be there with you.
Yeah, no, he's going to try to get away from you, and he's going to find his people, like the people in his group.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Like
He's not going to socialize, and you are going to turn at some point and go, where's 𝗀cie? Where'd 𝗀cie go? Now, Chris Williams, different problem altogether. Very social.
Yep.
But will exhaust his resources trying to find cheap light beer, probably Busch Light. So even if they're bringing you on the house $50 old fashions or something, Williams is going to want cheap beer. And then at some point, he's going to try to suck you into watching auto racing and betting on it. It could be down in Australia. I mean, I don't even know where it would be or where the race would be. In this case, I guess there was a Formula One race. But Matt, you know I'm right about all this.
Let me just speak from experience, because I've been to Vegas with Williams. He turns into a different person out there.
Right. And at some point, his shirt comes off, right?
Yeah. I mean,
we've seen that on RVTV. He was shirtless in the street.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be in Vegas for that to happen, but in Vegas, it's a guarantee.
Well, and he's on Fremont Street with 𝗀cie. And so the crowd there's a little different than you get down in New Vegas.
It is. It's also a more inexpensive street. Fremont Street, that's where it's kind of still, well, it is old Vegas, but it's some of the old prices. All right, so we move to the producers now. AD by now has done research that to smoke pot in Las Vegas, you have to have a medicinal marijuana card. Mm-hmm. So he's that's going to consume some of his time getting one of those cards.
Yeah.
And then once he gets into a store and they put him back in one of those testing booths, those smoke booths.
Tasting room?
Yeah, like a tasting room for pot. Yeah, so now we've lost AD. Aiden doesn't drink. Huge advantage most places.
Ooh.
But in Las Vegas, I mean...
What's he... Yeah, well, first of all, he's saving money.
You don't want a designated driver. He is saving money. And here's the other part.
I don't think nobody drives anywhere in Las Vegas, though.
He doesn't drink or gamble.
Yeah, he doesn't drink or gamble.
Well, what is he doing on this trip?
So he's going to spend his whole weekend posting content for Iowa everywhere. So he's the guy on the phone that's working the whole time. That's what's going to happen. Now, Matt, the problem with Matt here, Andy, is Matt Van Winkle is going to make you go to karaoke. And then he's going to show off the pipes.
That's true. That's how I met my wife singing karaoke. So
see,
nailed it.
It's coming. We're picking up votes.
Do they have that in Las Vegas?
Oh yeah.
All right, 𝗙cie.
I don't go to Vegas to hear like somebody in my group sing. I go to hear like a good singer.
But Matt can sing, so he's going to be like, "Oh, this is a chance for me to show off the pipes." So
Viva Las Vegas.
So you're going to end up with Matt singing at some point. He's going to try to talk you into singing. Then William's going to be up on the stage shirtless singing. All right, the final group we're competing against here, 𝗙cie𝗰𝗶𝗹. This will be like the start of Scott School. He'll just like randomly yell stuff out, and he'll tell jokes that a lot of people don't get, and there will be awkward moments. So you have to deal with that. Now, Ross Peterson, wild card. Okay, and we all can agree Ross deserves this trip, but if you pick Ross to go on your trip, basically it's the hangover. You're going to end up, somebody's going to be missing a tooth. Somebody's going to end up with a baby that doesn't belong to him or her. Somehow you're going to end up at Tyson's house. Tyson will be wearing that thong again. It's going to all be uncomfortable. So, Andy, I think we're a solid choice.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would have to warn people against picking us, though. I don't know that I would be a lot of fun. I would just have to be like, look, man, I hope you're up for entertaining yourself because I may peace out. I may Irish exit at any moment. I mean, and the thing is like Las Vegas, it is such a long walk to get anywhere.
Deceptively. It's like a mirage, every building. It's just over there.
Yeah, and I mean, even walking through the lobby of a hotel is like half a mile.
And they don't want you to leave.
It's just crazy. No, they don't. And no windows, no clocks. Yeah.
Not many doors. Right. They want to trap you.
Once you're in, they want you to stay in.
All right. Sports and more coming up, including Kirk Ferentz tips his hand. Iowa State plays to keep the dream alive. And Will Clark hates free swingers. That's all coming up here on Murph and Andy. Right now, high or low since our last show.
Presented by Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax.
Matt, can you confirm that is you on the Wealth Charter Retirement and Tax? Did you take it down an octave or did you slow it down?
Yeah, just down an octave.
Jeez. All right. Well, Wealth Charter in Ankeny. Simplifying wealth. Andy, high or low?
This is the easiest choice for me yet.
Really? Oh.
Hi, baby.
You got
the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs. Woo! Look at that. What a start. For Ben McCollum and the D2 Drake Bulldogs.
4 stars from Northwest Missouri.
Beat up on Miami yesterday. Taking out FAU today.
5-0.
5-0 with a group of white guys from Missouri playing D2 last year on the floor. I mean, you know, honestly, it is shocking to see because you look at that roster, see where those guys are from. I mean, usually when you have that many guys from Missouri together, there's usually a meth pipe and a bag of illegal fireworks nearby. But this group of guys from Missouri is just flat out playing basketball right now. This is a great story already and a better story in the making. I mean, we've been told, and we've looked at his record on paper, but we have been told that Ben McCollum is a legit great coach. Like a guy
one game to believe that he is.
Who can just draw up a system and teach his guys to stick to it. So far, that looks like what we're seeing. Kudos. Brian Harden again. Brian Harden, is he pulling another rabbit out of a hat here?
Maybe.
This is amazing. He's on that trip right now. I saw him in the stands there watching that game yesterday. There again today. I mean, that's bravo, Bulldogs. That makes me feel great.
And you got that great jersey.
Oh, look. I mean, come on, man.
That's beautiful.
Look at that. Oh, the Drake Bulldogs with a great start.
Yeah, I'm so impressed that the sets they run, the pick and rolls, the 3-point shooters left wide open. They play defense. I mean, the guy won 4 national championships, Ben McCollum did, and you can see why. They look good.
Andy,
this one's for you. Be nice to see him play Iowa State, man.
Yes.
This is for you.
Don't ask me to sing the words to that song, but
Are there words?
Of course there are. Yeah, sure. Certainly there would be words. Yeah, right. I mean, it's I don't know them.
Do you know who wrote that?
No.
Aaron Kiernan.
You know what the song's called?
That's not true.
The
Here's to the D. Here's to the one who wears the D. The D song?
The D song? I thought that was a different song.
Yeah, that's the D girl is different. Yeah, I mean it's this is great. And you know, Drake fans were so down. Oh my God. I mean, Darren DeVries, who we just loved, held on to him probably longer than we should have been able to. Leaves town and just the cupboard clears out. I mean, Nate Ferguson and like a bag of jock straps. That was all that was left.
Yeah, Ferguson and Admire. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it just cleared it out. Ben McCollum comes in and just basically has to fill a roster, bring a bunch of guys he knows. And, you know, but the thing is that the rest of the Missouri Valley Conference, they may not be that bad off this year, but they're really in that same boat. They've all taken hits.
Yeah, you and I.
That's a winnable conference. I mean, especially if this holds true. I mean, sometimes you see crazy stuff at the start of the basketball season.
These are quality wins, though.
Teams aren't ready. Guys aren't together. Everybody's feeling each other out. But, I mean, if you watched these games, you saw a basketball team playing team basketball on a system and a coach on the sidelines who looked like he was pulling strings. So, I mean, really, I feel justified in being excited about this.
I'm going low for higher low, even though it's a Friday. This might be my first Friday low, and I'm going to try to be careful here. A couple of months ago, Jenny's parents asked us to go to Hoyt Sherman with them and see the Liverpool Legends. Now, Jenny's parents love the Beatles. I respect and appreciate the greatness of the Beatles. Wouldn't call myself a big fan. Like, AD is a big fan of the Beatles. I appreciate the Beatles. There's songs I have in my music collection, but I'm not a fan that would go see guys pretending to be the Beatles, the Liverpool Legends. And Jenny, even less so than me. I don't think Jenny would choose to go see the actual Beatles if they somehow reunited.
Sure she would.
I don't think so.
That would be like the biggest event in the history of music.
Right. And I still don't think she'd be interested. Like Led Zeppelin, yes. But the Beatles, probably not. Like if I said, look, this is really surprising, Jenny. John Lennon and George Harrison turns out they're alive again, and the Beatles are getting back together at Hoyt Sherman. She would say, what night is it?
Come on.
Saturday night shit. Yeah, I don't think so. But I said, you know, because my parents are gone now and I miss them dearly, I was like, you know what? When your parents want to do something with you, honor thy parents. You'll feel good about it. We should go. So Jenny listens to me and she says, okay, tells them we're ready to go. And then Iowa State plays another night game. So now Iowa State is playing Utah in one of the more important games in Iowa State football history when you consider what could be at stake if Iowa State wins again. And I will be at not the Beatles, but the Liverpool Legends. And I was in Liverpool this year, so I appreciate the actual Liverpool. I appreciate the Beatles. But Andy, this is my low. I want to watch the football game tomorrow night.
Well, I understand that, but I don't know if you've ever seen a really good tribute band, but they can be amazing. And
these guys are supposed to be amazing.
Yeah, and there are a number of amazing Beatles tribute bands. I mean, there are, and it's cool because, I mean, the Beatles, they were done by 1969. That's so long ago that they didn't have. I mean, the guitars are all the same. Some of the amplifiers are the same, but the effects are completely different. Acoustics are totally different in amphitheaters and arenas and that. Even the best live Beatles recording is not that great. And if you get a good tribute band that really puts kind of a modern edge to it, I mean, those are some of the greatest songs ever written. I mean, lyrics and
No
melodies. And when they're given a bit of a modern spin, I imagine this could be great. I have seen a phenomenal, I saw a phenomenal Led Zeppelin cover band that was all women, and it was called 𝗀cie𝗰𝗶𝗹. They were incredible. Wow. I've seen a great Kiss cover band. I've seen a great Simon and Garfunkel cover band. A number of others that are escaping me right now, but it is cool to see where they try to do. They try to stick as closely as possible to the costumes and, you know, certainly the music and the lyrics, but then they also kind of have like license to give things more of a modern edge, and it can really work out. So keep an open mind going in there. I think you might end up liking it. I mean, these are songs that are so iconic, legendary, so fundamental that, you know, there's a reason they've been covered a million times. I mean,
well, you're being a good friend
songs.
right now, but you are making me feel a little bit better about it.
Well, give it a chance. I could be totally wrong, but I mean, give it a chance.
And the Beatles,
and
among
Hoyt
the
Sherman
many things,
Amphitheater is a cool place.
The Beatles, the start of their music, which is so poppy, to the end of the run. Unlike
many
Sgt.
bands, Pepper's and it starts
their
to turn,
songs and albums are so distinctly different.
Yeah.
And it kind of blows people away when you remind them the Beatles are 5 years.
Yeah.
5-year period. That's
6
not
at the most. Yeah.
very long. Yeah. So it's something. Interact with us on YouTube. Email is Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com. On X, it's Murph_Andy, where the poll is today. It's all powered by the Cellular Advantage, authorized agent of U.S. Cellular since 1993. New stores in Centerville, Albia, and Bloomfield.
I want to see what the inside of that Bloomfield store looks like, because I used to go through Bloomfield on my way home to St. Louis during college, back before they had the 4-lane road all the way. And that town is like 50% Amish.
Okay.
And there's so many Amish around there.
Somebody stop at the Bloomfield store, send us a photo.
Is
or
there
Doug Eklund, send us a photo from Bloomfield.
Does somebody ask Doug Eklund, does he have an Amish-friendly iPhone? What does that look like? Is it made of wood?
Yeah, what would that look like? Let's get the buzz.
The Buzz. Brought to you by 𝗀cie Heating and Cooling.
𝗀cie Heating and Cooling, thank you for the nice, comfortable night I had last night as it starts to turn cold here. Well, Kirk Ferentz on his coach's show further strongly hints, by now maybe he's actually confirmed. And I haven't heard. I've been at an award ceremony this morning and early this afternoon, but former 5th-string quarterback, elevated to 4th-string quarterback at some point, Jackson Stratton, will start for Iowa at Maryland. And there's been kind of a mystery about Cade McNamara and what's going on. I expect this to come out and actually be reported at some point. And again, I've been out of pocket here for a few hours. Matt or Andy, has Iowa confirmed that Cade McNamara is not making this trip?
I haven't seen Iowa confirm it, but I've seen it everywhere that I've seen that he's not on the team anymore, that he's done. I mean, you've seen everything today.
I have not seen that, and I have not heard Iowa confirm that, but
I have not heard Iowa confirm anything, but there's speculation all over the place.
The last we've heard from Kirk Ferentz was his press conference, and then he spoke to Dolph about it. Do you want to hear that sound?
Let's hear that.
We're not playing yet, but Jackson looks like the guy that'll be going, and he'll get the start. So, just confident that he'll do a great job. He stepped in, did a really nice job in our last ball game, and he's got a good ability to throw the football, and he's learning every day. So, if he's our guy, we'll go with him and see what we can do.
Well, he's saying right there that he said Jackson Stratton is going to get the start. That tells me Cade McNamara, that confirms to me, at least in my speculative mind or in my deductive reasoning mind, that Cade McNamara is either not on this trip or not on the team or both. And what the heck happened here? What's going on? Because that was a really long concussion protocol, and it had us questioning on previous shows, Is he supposedly still in the protocol, or is there something more here? And Andy, we clearly have crossed over into there's something more here, like he's pouting or he's upset or he doesn't think he's being used properly or something. But here's the reality of it. He was not good.
Well, let's do our due diligence here and say that, concussion protocol can last forever. He did say earlier this week that, Kirk Ferentz was non-committal earlier this week.
He was.
He left it open. So he's not, I don't think he's pulling the wool over anybody's eyes. And it could be that he's still hurt. Okay. It could be. Well, let's just due diligence. The way it looks.
It's good to point that out because we have not had any confirmation that I'm aware from the University of Iowa football program.
Now, we did point that out at the beginning of this whole thing, is that's one of the things with concussion protocol is it's really kind of buys you as much time as you want. Mm-hmm. He could be 65 years old and still in concussion protocol, but he's got as much time as he wants to figure this out. Both of them do. They've got like eternal cover at this point. But, what does the smell test tell you? The things that we hear, the things that we can see with our own eyes, this has been a situation that has not worked. And it's really Iowa's first foray into buying players. And so when the very first foray into an unpopular frontier fails, everybody is upset about it. It seems like it didn't work. It seems like you never want to do it again. It seems like this is going to doom us all. It seems like the only one that got anything out of this relationship is Cade McNamara, who took our money and didn't give us anything for it. So that's how it feels. That's like the raw emotion to the whole thing. But, I don't know. I feel like we should reserve a little bit of judgment till we do, have something final here. We've reached the end of Cade McNamara's Iowa experience, whenever that might be. And then we can kind of, throw down the hammer one way or the other. But at this point, this doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good. And I think Iowa fans are ready to move on from him no matter what. I feel like we'd all rather see Jackson Stratton because we know what Cade McNamara has at this point in his college career. We'd rather see that. But, we would rather see Iowa win. So we would go along with Kirk Ferentz if he said Cade McNamara is healthy enough to start. We believe he gives us the best chance to win. But at this point, it just seems like there are other factors at play, and this whole thing is swinging the way of, all right, forget it. Let's just see Jackson Stratton.
Yeah, there's what we know and what we think, and those are two different things. And we don't know yet what is actually going on with Cade McNamara. But what we think is that there's some kind of disconnect going on in the program right now. But there's a real disconnect, as you just pointed out, Andy, with the fans. And this is not really good for the Swarm and NIL. It's not Brad Heinrich's fault or the Swarm's fault, but they've just kind of misfired on the players that we think they spent the most money on. Cade McNamara, no matter what he is as a leader or what his character is or any of those things, he was not good on the football field for a couple of seasons for Iowa, and he was especially bad against good teams. I think he's only thrown 2 touchdown passes against Power 4 teams. He was inaccurate, he had a weak arm, he couldn't move, and he got hurt a lot. That's not an attack on his character, but fans also know he got a big bag of money. So that makes them more willing to be critical because you no longer have the shield of, well, hey, this is an amateur athlete. These aren't pro athletes. These guys aren't paid, so we don't need to be attacking them. Well, now many fans know that these players, some of them are making far more money than the fans who are paying them to come play, and that makes them more resentful and quicker to criticize And McNamara has not worked at all, and that's not going to turn around at this point. We know that. Caden Proctor was a disaster for whatever he got. Maybe it wasn't much, but that just was embarrassing, and it was a debacle, and nobody's blaming anyone in particular, but that's another knock against people not wanting to give money. And then Caleb Brown. Caleb Brown was a 4-star Ohio State guy and did nothing at Iowa and then left mid-season. So there are probably smaller amounts and ways that NIL and the Swarm are really effective. I saw Brad Heinrich point out that Lucy Olson came to the women's basketball team, and she's clearly already a hit with the team and with the fans. So there's more of that out there. But right now, you ask a Hawkeye fan, even when you're at Kinnick Stadium, hey, would you like to round up with the rest of the money going to NIL or the Swarm? Right. I heard a bunch of people the last game I was at at Kinnick Stadium. A lot of fans said no. No, I don't want you to round up, because they just resent that they're being asked to give more money, and it hasn't worked.
Yeah, well, it was a system that we resented going in.
Sure.
Anybody that liked this idea was smoking weed. I mean, bad weed, like cheap, bad weed laced with something, man. I mean, it was a bad trip. Nobody wants to participate in this. Nobody likes this. It sucks. The fans having to pay players who are already getting a college scholarship worth potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, that doesn't sit well with anybody.
No, and the networks are paying hundreds of millions of dollars to these schools and conferences for the right to broadcast these games, and the fans are still supposed to pay for Cade McNamara to come play for Iowa?
And it is such a spindly, skeletal little system that there is absolutely, there's no accountability. Nobody's getting any of their money back. There's no guarantee that these players are going to go do anything out in the community. You like to believe that they're going to, but there's nothing holding them to that. This is all blind faith right now. And right now, Iowa fans are looking at this and feeling like their first 3 steps into this new forest, were in the mud. I mean, these were 3 bad steps, and I wouldn't participate in this from here on out. I mean, I would have questions. I mean, where's the start and end of all the questions about why this didn't work? Are they picking the wrong players? Are the wrong people picking the wrong players? Are the wrong people picking the wrong players to come play in the wrong system? Is the coaching wrong? Is the approach to bringing in players this way wrong? I mean, is the search for these players wrong? I mean,
right.
Where does it start? Where does it end?
Because maybe looking up to the things that excites the fans. Oh, we got a former Michigan starter. We got a 4-star from Ohio State. Wow. Got an Alabama tackle that's coming here. The blue blood programs that make the fans go, ooh, ah, wow. Those are the players that haven't worked. You look over at Indiana, and they've completely changed the trajectory of the program with a bunch of guys who came from James Madison, probably thrilled to have a shot at playing in the Big Ten for Indiana. The quarterback comes from Ohio University.
Yeah, but what made that work there? You don't know.
Is
it the coach? I think it's a coach. It looks like the coach, but it's clearly the players have worked too, so they're partially responsible. But who found the players there? How much did they pay them?
Is out beating the ACC power and FAU, beating Miami and FAU with guys who were playing Division II basketball last year.
Yeah, guys that aren't getting paid at all. I don't know. I mean, this whole thing is still so half-baked that we said it at the beginning. I think everybody said it at the beginning. Expect a whole bunch of failures. Yeah. Expect some pretty spectacular ones where you've paid through the nose to get a guy and he flops. because also you're dealing with some of these guys who are 18, 19 years old. Even if they're 23 years old, that's still really young. And guys that move around all the time, I mean, that I think that makes them a riskier object. I mean, this is just, I think this is potentially a very low-sum game. So, I don't know. I mean, you see something like this, and it's easy to get really upset at a lot of different entities. And honestly, when fans get upset about it, at this point, I can't blame them.
You know who the big winner is in the Deacon Hill, Cade McNamara era? Spencer Petras.
Oh, Spencer. Yeah.
Spencer Petras. I mean, he has moved up in the eyes of fans as they look back. It is an 11 a.m. game, finally. The Hawkeyes playing Maryland tomorrow. And how bad is Maryland? I mean, Iowa, it's known, is sending a former 4th or 5th string quarterback from the scout team to start on the road. Iowa has lost 3 straight road games. 2 of them Iowa was favored, and they're still favored by a touchdown at Maryland. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a lot of respect right there. I'm really glad that Iowa has this game right now. I don't know. I mean, I feel like we need to kind of check ourselves down and go back 1 year or even 2 years and just remember the position that we were in as we were watching this team, where we were thinking, this defense is so good. Phil Parker is so good. Special teams is so good. The entire team, other than the offense, is so good, or other than the quarterback is so good. Yeah. If they had a quarterback that could breathe, right? I mean, a quarterback that could do anything,
right?
They would. Well, I mean, they won 10 games, so they wouldn't win 12, but they would be closer in those 2 losses. They look like they could really compete for championships. Well, Iowa went out and got a quarterback who was better. I mean, Cade McNamara was better. He was, more fragile and more banged up, and than advertised, than we thought he would be. Maybe he truly didn't fit in that system, but I mean, we just wanted one little thing, like the bare minimum in a college quarterback. Well, they have, seems like they've got 3 examples of bare minimums in college quarterbacks right now. And so this should be a great season, right? Well, no, it turns out this was the year that the defense took a step back, and the offensive line took a step back, and the special teams took a step back. So, right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this has been one of the more frustrating years in Kirk Ferentz football in a while.
Iowa State travels to Utah. Utah, the preseason Big 12 favorite that took a dump. Yeah. It is a night game, so what else is new? I will be, again, to remind you, at Liverpool Legends. Iowa State is favored in this game by 7 points. Utah definitely has talent, but the offense matches up well. Their lack of offense matches up well with Iowa State's strengths and weaknesses. Utah doesn't run the ball well, and Iowa State doesn't stop the run well. So this could be just what Iowa State needs to keep this dream season alive. Now, here with the scoop on what Iowa State needs to have happen to make it to the Big 12 championship game, Matt Van Winkle.
Well, they're going to do a nice service to fans by wearing this helmet. I don't know if you guys saw the breaking news in the last hour, but they're going to be wearing these all-white helmets with the Cyclones script.
This is called breaking news now?
Yeah, this is a breaking news here on Murph and Andy. Yeah.
The Cyclone script is sharp. That should stay.
It's nice. I love it. They've worn it on the black helmet and the white helmet. We haven't seen this color version yet, so this is kind of new. But yeah,
what do you mean they wore it on the white helmet before, but it wasn't this version?
It was black logo on a white helmet. So
yeah,
okay.
You've seen that. It was just last week, right?
The whiteout game was okay. The
whiteout game was.
I much prefer this. Give me some
black.
school colors.
Yeah, and so they're wearing the all whites, and I think Utah's wearing all blacks. So
be easy
black
to tell
with red
which team is which. Okay.
So
right,
at this
let's get to
point
that
with the Big 12
tiebreaker.
tiebreaker, I'm starting to kind of feel like Charlie Day from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like,
Are you smoking
conspiracy-
cigarettes yet?
I'm getting close to that point. No, but the Des Moines Register laid out a really nice like map scenario, like all the different scenarios. I think there's like A, B, C, D, E, F scenario. So best case scenario for Iowa State, you got to win out, right? And if both BYU and Colorado lose on Saturday, Iowa State returns to being able to control its own destiny when they return home to play Kansas State. So you want Arizona State to beat BYU, you want Kansas to beat Colorado. That's your best case scenario in my opinion.
I don't know that you can get a better scenario for needing those two teams to lose than that. Kansas is red hot, and Arizona State has played very, very well.
Mm-hmm. And you could also have
those games, Matt, are done before Iowa State plays
Correct.
tomorrow night.
Correct. Yeah, they get those afternoon kicks, and Iowa State obviously out in Utah, the 6:30 Central kick. So they'll be able to know a lot before they kick off against the Utes for sure.
Oh, so what?
I don't know if they want to know. I don't know that they want to know. Look, this has got to be a snap by snap game for Iowa State. Not looking any further ahead than that. I mean, they have got to just buckle down and play really fundamental football. God, I hope they can have a good start in this game. A good first quarter.
If Utah drives the length of the field on the first possession, you know there's a problem because Utah's offense has been bad.
There's been a problem. I mean, we know that there's been a problem with this defense. The defense, certainly in the first half, this defense has had a problem. And in a number of really important games this season, they've had a problem in the second half too.
So that takes place tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Which channel are these two games on? The Hawkeyes are on BTN, I think. And what is I'll be at a
Fox
cover
for Iowa
band.
State. Fox.
The main Fox game?
Main Fox game. Yep.
Wow. Okay. Iowa State, Utah is the main Fox game. And Andy, who looked in the crystal ball before the season and said there are going to be two huge games in late November?
Yeah.
BYU, Arizona State.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And Ohio State, Indiana.
Nobody. Yeah.
Nobody.
But that's great though. I mean, this has been a lot of fun, and it's given the halves in college football a couple of coaches to try to hire away in the offseason.
North Polk won the state football championship last night.
The Metro represent.
Yeah, I point this out mostly as a way of mentioning here that Scott Sipker will not be on today's show. He's traveling to Las Vegas, as we refer you back to the quickie poll for more on that. But North Polk, this is their first state championship. Video here from Mark Freund and WHO 13, Tim TeBrink, head coach. This was a game with two really compelling storylines, even for those who don't watch a lot of high school football, and we realize it's not mainstream for most of you, but North Polk had never won a football championship. Yeah. And Pella's Jay McKinstry, head coach, this was his final game, won 3 titles a decade ago, is really respected and a nice guy, and he was hoping to go out with a win, but North Polk gets it done by 10. That's Comet's first title. Congratulations to them.
Yeah, that's great. And that is that is a program that could probably win for a long time too. I mean, North Polk, that area, Polk City, is, I believe, the wealthiest city in the state of Iowa right now.
I think the Moore team broke that.
Yeah, I think Moore broke that story. I think so.
I think he did.
And that's North Polk High School. They have, they've got a lot of kids that start playing early and get a lot of support from their parents, and are going to have really nice stuff at school. So they could. This is no fluke. This is probably no flash in the pan for them. Well, they were in the title game last year. Were they in the title game last year? They did well last year.
I believe they lost in the semifinals.
Okay, in the semifinals. So they were in the mix. So
they're good every year now.
Yeah. So, and they're going to be like Van Meter, one of the smaller towns in the Des Moines metro, where a lot of people from Des Moines have moved to, from Ankeny or 𝗀cie. They've moved over there because they kind of still want that small town feel. and they're really cool places. They're great places to live. You got a lot of good parents out there, and parents who channel their kids through good leagues, little leagues, junior football leagues, and that kind of stuff. And so this is potentially a really sustainable thing. Now, 𝗀𝗏 is also one of those towns. I mean, they have a lot of money and a lot of sports addicted parents down there that bring their kids up playing a lot of sports. But I mean, this North Polk is a monster. The question is how long, what are they, 2A right now? How long are they going to be in
4A?
What? North Polk is up to 4A now?
Yeah, that was the 4A championship last night.
I can't read. I can't see it. Yeah, these glasses, they're not good. I thought, okay, so they're 4A already. Well, I don't know if they're going to be 5A anytime soon, but I was just going to say they're going to be getting bigger because they have been growing very fast. So, all right, so they're going to be at 4A. They could be at 4A power for a long time.
Matt, fact check me on that. That's right, isn't it? They're 4A?
Yeah, according to that trophy that we just showed on the screen, I have better eyes than Andy. Yes, 4A.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so they're already 4A. Man, oh man. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
North Polk against 𝗀𝗏 5A championship coming up tonight.
Yeah. 𝗀𝗏
Valley.
Okay.
Andy's a well-known Valley Tiger. Valley against the 3-time defending champs from Southeast Polk, who are supposed to be having a rebuilding year, but thought, you know what? Let's see if we can win a 4th title. Now, many people, more than ever, hunger for objectivity in broadcasting. And if that's what you want, WHO 13 News at 4, 5, and 6 last night was not for you, because Ed Wilson went full Grundy Center on camera, live, wearing the colors, wearing the T-shirts, and the fighting.
Lee Rouse with him there too is no less biased toward Grundy Center.
Right,
both
also
two Grundy Center guys, shooting that whole day.
I know, just giving you completely subjective, biased coverage of the Fighting Ed Wilsons winning their 3rd straight title. It does seem like we have dynasties in every direction here with football, and I don't think we're surprised by that.
Grundy Center is who's it? Kevin Thompson is our man that always keeps us up with Undy Grundy Center.
Yeah.
That team is just like a friggin' monster, aren't they? I mean that program
39-0 they won.
God.
Holy cow.
It's like, aren't they like 39-0 in their last 39 games? It seems like
I think that's what it is. 39-0. The score wasn't 39-0, although it was not close, but it was a little more competitive.
What are they doing over there in Grundy Center? That's just a small town. I mean,
Ed said when he played, they were terrible. So I think he's joking. I think they're more on the average side. And look at this. 2 of the great weathermen in America, Ed Wilson and Mark Woodley.
Now, see, Mark Woodley went to Dyke New Hartford, right? Isn't he a Dyke New Hartford guy?
He is. That's why he looks so bitter in this photo and why Ed looks so happy. And by the way, Mark, I understand he's disappointed his alma mater didn't win, but you have to call Ed the star of the movie Up? That seems a little mean. Does he look like the star of Up?
He's pissed. He's mad that his team lost.
Man, all right.
Give him a break.
Yeah, all right. Let's move along, because I saw just a quick shot of the snow globe game last night.
Mm-hmm.
This was
Cleveland.
Incredible. It started out just like a clear night in Cleveland, and then Andy,
that's
I know
old school NFL though. Look at that.
Oh my gosh, I can hear John Facenda's voice. Yeah. The snow is coming down in the dog pound.
Howling off Lake Erie, pouring on to the frozen turf in Cleveland.
Oh my!
Yeah. Gosh. Oh no, it's beautiful. That's great. Now that's what football's supposed to look like. Get out of the dome, Vikings. Get out of the dome, Lions.
Man,
come on, man. Seriously, this is cool. Yeah, that's great.
Browns won. These photos, just fantastic. And the Steelers have been better than expected. Oh, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. just a beautiful picture. Realize some of you are just listening. So just picture a snow globe with some football players in it.
It's like worse than a snow globe. You can't like see through it. I can't see the crowd.
Jameis Winston painted a nice picture of it. We got some sound from him if you want to hear it after the game.
Jameis Winston has become must-hear sound.
This is really an NFL film moment. The snow starts pouring down. It starts getting like I felt like my feet started getting heavy because I'm squishing through the snow. And man, it was so good, and it was so great to end up in that win.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be complaining about it.
No, he's become like a really entertaining interview.
As long as he's not talking about Deshaun Watson
or crab legs. Was that him?
Yeah,
was
right. Down at Publix. Yeah, down in Florida.
He was crab legs. All right. Let's get to the Grimaldi's fan photo winner. Boys, a good night for a piping hot pizza. Angie Hashman, Angie's son, collects mascots at all games. And even though the Hashmans, Andy, are diehard Hawkeye fans, the boy wanted a bulldog at the game because, quote, according to the kid, way cooler than a Hawkeye. Ooh.
Cooler mascot. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the mascot.
Yeah,
he's for those who can't see,
Herky's a freakish looking just monstrosity. Yeah.
He picked, the kid picked
awesome.
the bulldog. So the Hashmans have a $50 gift card to Grimaldi's in Ankeny. And
they're going to go up to the Ankeny location there. That's in the Village of Prairie Trail.
Yeah, we've been there. It's a nice location. Mm-hmm. And not only do they get pizza and a $50 gift card, Andy, they send another Drake fan your way. I mean, their son is now going to be a Drake fan. You know how one item, one little mascot can change a kid forever?
Absolutely, yeah. It looks like they were at the women's game the other night, maybe. That's where they took that picture when they were at the Nap Center. That's cool. But I mean, everybody loves Spike. I mean, Spike is a great mascot because the giant walking Spike looks great. Kids love him. But then you got the real Spike named Griff. Yeah.
Griff's the best.
Yeah. The real bulldog down there too. So it's like double-decker mascots at the Nap Center.
Since our last show, the UNI women had a top 10 win for the first time in program history over number 8, Iowa State. Maya McDermott in the middle there holding up the W. 37 points for Maya McDermott, elite performance. And that was just a great win for the Panthers. And I'm sure that it's something that Bill Fenley will use to make his, you're reminded, Emily Ryan aside, still very young team. Mm-hmm. He will coach them up out of this. And it's a great win for the Panthers. And here's Bill Fenley after the game with some harsh truth.
You're playing a good team on the road, and I've said forever, you guys heard me, these in-state games are, really hard. That's why the men don't play them, and we do. And like I said before the game, this is a ridiculously stupid scheduling thing on my part to play these games. But we want to do it. I think it's good for basketball in our state.
He's saying the quiet part out loud there. It is why Iowa and Iowa State don't play these games. I hate everything about it. I don't see it as the spirit of competition. I don't think it's good for the state. I don't think it's good for the fans of either fan base. But he is right. It's why they don't play these games.
His voice has
I put a little filter on it because it was, he had a hoarse voice, but it was,
he's always
the
hoarse.
The video was from far away, so I was trying to clean it up a little bit, maybe pinched his voice a little.
Andy, you're calling on Matt to,
it did
to
sound
give
a little,
away his secrets.
High.
His voice there sounded a little bit like when they play old tapes of us.
We're going to get a text message from Bill Fenley any moment now.
I can play the original audio, and it's harder to hear, but...
No, don't do it.
You turned him into a soprano. What
he's going to be on
was he
stage
sitting
with
on
the
one
Beatles.
of his testicles? What was he doing there? We have heard Fenley so hoarse,
that's why they don't play these games.
Yeah. He was in his falsetto.
Yeah,
he sounded like Chris Martin from Coldplay.
He was when like when Billy Joel made that.
Yeah,
50s
like
album.
it was. It was that. Now this is Bill Fenley and his Frankie Valli voice.
You know, and I've said forever.
Okay, fine. That's better, Van Winkle. My God.
Really hard.
Uptown Girl.
Yeah.
Van Winks, you're in trouble.
I just want
man.
to say that this is why they don't want to play those games.
Can't trust AI.
This is hard. Did AI do that?
Yeah.
AI.
Keith, were you really going to say
Winkle's
nothing?
Initials are AI.
Were you going to say nothing about that, Keith?
I just, Fenley, he's had some voice challenges, and he yells and he loses his voice.
Yes, he has.
I just thought this was a strain on his
Let's
voice.
hear it one more time.
You're playing a good team on the road, and I've said forever, you guys heard me, these in-state games are, really hard. That's why the men don't play them.
All right.
That's not that bad.
And
Come on.
like I said before the game.
Andy, stop calling attention.
Yes, it is. It's terrible.
They're playing these games.
Well, that's why the men don't like to play them.
Oh, my goodness. Fred Hoiberg.
It sounded like Bill Fenley doing Johnny Orr.
I'm sorry, Coach.
Fred Hoiberg calls out 𝗀score fans. Now, these are Nebraska fans who root for Creighton basketball.
Okay, we got some sound here.
Going into year 6 in this rivalry in the state, the weird thing about this one is that on the next day, a lot of those fans will be cheering for Nebraska on the football field. That's always been a little bit bizarre to me, but these rivalry games are really fun for the fans. They're not very much fun for the coach.
That's about as polite as you can call out fans.
Yeah, we love Hoiberg because he's pretty honest, and he's got that edge to him too. I mean, for a really nice guy that's, always been considered to be very, very nice, got a really nice family. I mean, when Fred Hoiberg is pissed or annoyed at something, he is. And I like that about him. That would be annoying to be in his position.
Yes.
I mean, he's working hard for those fans. They go to that school, they live in that town, and yet there's such front runners over there that they just forsake this team and school. That, I mean, a lot of these guys are probably walking around with ink on their skin that say something about Go Big Red.
Right.
And yet they just can't stand not rooting for the winner. So they turn into Creighton fans.
It's a bandwagon.
It is
a bandwagon.
Yeah. Drake certainly welcomes Hawkeye and Cyclone fans to come to their games and stuff like that. But damn well over there, it goes deeper than that. It's like those fans just flat out picked Creighton because that's the team that won more. The same way, the Nebraska fans here in Iowa picked Nebraska back in the 90s because they were winning football all the time.
This next video is not safe for work ears or children's ears. But here is former Giants and Cardinals star Will Clark with thoughts on today's Major League hitters.
Guess what? You're starting to get back into the at-bat. You're getting back into the count. And so, you try to talk to people about that now, and they're like, we don't need to do that. I'm swinging for the fences. I'm like, yeah, it's because you're a fucking asshole. You don't want to hit 300. You don't want to help your teammates out, and you don't care about striking out. That's why you strike out 150 times and hit 230, 240. So all of you guys in the major leagues that hit 230, 240, 15 homers, 45 RBIs, strike out 150 times, fuck you motherfuckers. You guys are not hitters. There you go. Boom. That one.
Well, that is cool, dude.
Oh, and I know you're going to make a TikTok out of that one. So, boom.
He's right. That's from the No Filter Network. Man, this guy is the quintessential guy you love on your team but hate on the other team.
Oh, I know that firsthand. Growing up in the 80s in St. Louis, Will Clark came on the scene at the time that the Giants he and Kevin Mitchell, I mean, the big reasons that those teams in the late 80s, the Giants were so good. Matt Williams comes along too. Will Clark was the heart and soul of that team, and he was a son of a bitch, man. I mean, that guy just an SOB, really tough competitor, really loved to play the game of baseball, played it hard, and would play it a little dirty. There was a game, this would have been like in 1987, the Cardinals and the Giants are the two best teams in the National League. Cardinals are loaded. They have so many. I mean, they got all-stars at every position just about. And Will Clark is the plays at second. 𝗙cie fields it at short, tosses to Jose Oquendo, who's on the bag, who's covered the bag at second. Will Clark just comes sliding in, legs, akimbo, takes out Jose Oquendo at second base. And 𝗙cie, who is like this stealth badass, who looks smallish, like an acrobat, a gymnast, nice to everybody. I mean, when the shit went down, though, Ozzie Smith was a badass. And so Ozzie Smith throws his glove at Will Clark, takes a huge swing at him. Big fist fight happens right at second base. Bench is clear. Everybody's fighting. Stadium is sold out. Everybody's going nuts. Hated Will Clark's guts from that point on. I hated him. Every Cardinal fan hated him. Wanted to kill Will Clark. Hated Will Clark. Booed every time he appeared on the field. He was booed at Busch Stadium. People would boo their TV sets. It was next level hate. Late 90s, Mark McGwire goes down. At the end of his career, Will Clark joins the Cardinals. First at bat, fans are like biting their tongues not to boo him. He gets in, like slashes a double, says all the right things in the post game. Cardinal fans loved him from that point on, and he was a great guy on that team. Great hitter, still had it. Was just a pure old baseball guy. I mean, I think he was a guy that didn't wear any batting gloves when everybody else did. He
sounds like a pure old baseball guy.
Really good fielder, power to all fields. He was just a really fun dude, and Cardinal fans to this day, I mean, they love him, but they remember hating his guts. I mean, it was you felt passionately about Will Clark.
Will Clark was my dad's favorite baseball player because, Giants fan here, and he actually named my brother Clark after him.
Oh, yeah?
Way to come in with the good anecdote there, Matt Van Winkle. Probably picked up another vote in today's quickie poll just on that anecdote. Confluence is the official beer of Murph and Andy. The weekend is here. Stop by Confluence if you get a chance. Jenny and I did that last weekend. And as always, we're treated well, had good conversation, and delicious beer. Time now for Throwdowns.
Throwdowns. It's Throwdowns. Backed by Heartland Tire and Auto.
All right, guys, let's throw it down. Iowa State plays in the Maui Invitational next week. It's over Thanksgiving. If you were a fan, would you want to travel to one of these warm weather locations to watch your team during arguably one of the best meal holidays, the best food holidays? I feel like you'd be missing out on that.
I wouldn't want to do it over Thanksgiving, but generally, yes, I want to do this. And Andy, anytime we've gone to an NCAA tournament or a bowl game, we've been working, and those are some of the longest days and actually some of the more challenging days you work. And people back here are asking you, how's the golf? How's the beach? How's Disney World? I don't know. I'm working a 14-hour day, but I would love to go do something like this just as a fan, just to hang out and have a good time.
I foresee a retirement like this for myself in the future where, you've kind of done the family thing. You've got enough money now and you just want to go have experiences before you die. And, you and your wife decide to say, you're like, oh, okay, we're Iowa State fans or Drake fans. My team's going to the Virgin Islands or, some fun place. Maybe it's over Thanksgiving. Heck, maybe it's over Christmas. And you're just like, okay, everybody will understand. I want to do this before I kick the bucket. You go and you do that. I'm totally doing that. That sounds fun to me.
Yeah, Hassel's heading to the Bahamas for like a day, so he's not even going to get to enjoy the nice weather down there, really.
That's perfect for him, though, because,
Yeah,
again, if you haven't voted yet in the quickie poll, Hassel hates people.
All right, guys, Mark Farley will coach his last game on Saturday. How are you going to remember UNI's head coach?
I'm going to remember him as a guy I always enjoyed talking to, and just an old school football coach who came across to me like a guy that would have done the same job if it paid $50,000 and he was like a high school coach. I don't think he was ever in it for the money. I don't think he likes the direction of college athletics right now, but I know he was intense, and he was probably at times a little difficult or a little challenging to work with, or maybe even play for. But I have respect for Mark Farley, and I miss the old school coaches, and more getting out.
I will remember him as an intensely loyal guy, a guy that, took this little directional program and cranked out NFL players, competed with the bigger programs in his state, took his team to lots of postseasons, really made, he made lemonade out of the lemons that he got. I mean, he made great lemonade, put it that way. I mean, he really did a lot with a little, and he just looked like a guy who was happy doing that. Mm-hmm. He looked like one of those situations where the right school found the right guy, and for a long time, it was a really good relationship. It was a really good fit. Lasting 24 years. Is that right? 24 years. Is that it?
Right. He's just shy of where Kirk Ferentz is over in
lasting
Iowa.
24 years at a career in these days. And I'm not just saying like in 2024, lasting 24 years in this millennium is incredibly rare and hard to do. Just things have just changed so much.
Ask Ross Peterson.
I'll never get the 2014 game at Jack Trice Stadium when David Johnson just ran all over Iowa State and beat them. Got it burned in my mind.
He beat Iowa State a number of times. He scared the hell out of Iowa State a number of times.
Good coach.
He got damn close to beating Iowa. I mean, he really was and a guy that, like, I think 5 years can go by before we see him again. And if we do see him, I would love to just sit down with him again and talk to him. And I bet he'd be every bit as entertaining. He's a guy that I look forward to seeing again.
Congrats on a great career, Coach. All right, guys, I started putting up some Christmas lights this morning on the house. Every time I'm out there,
where
I'm
are
just
the
like,
trees?
This is a new development in Bondurant.
Yeah, he's in Bondurant, Andy. This is not Beaverdale.
I don't see a single tree.
No, there's a few little ones back there.
They'll be there. They'll be there by the time
I see a grain elevator. Yeah,
that doesn't work. So every time I'm out there, I'm always like, I should have just left them up. I think I left them up a little too long this year because those little snaps, the little things you clip them into, are starting to break. They just got like baked in the sun. Is it okay to leave Christmas lights up year round? Murph,
you want to go ahead and take this? So
I got nothing to add here because I've never put Christmas lights up. Andy, I think you're more qualified to answer this.
Oh, well, you were nice to me. I thought you were just going to point out that Andy has left his Christmas lights up all year long a number of times, just out of sheer laziness. And you'd be right. First of all, when you put them up, the weather's fine. When you go to take them down, it sucks, right? And there's nothing worse than, trying to set up a rickety ladder on ice. So you're just like, I'll get to those things later. Well, then you just don't. And then it's, April and your neighbors are making fun of you, and that's how it happens. But honestly, and maybe somebody can hit us in the comments here, this should not be a priority of mine, but I am truly interested in like permanent lights at my house. just for the simple reason of not having to worry about them at Christmas. And it'd be kind of fun to, because they changed they're all LEDs.
Mm-hmm.
You can do Halloween, 4th of July, whatever else. And, I like to just have kind of everyday lights in my life too. Just changing my moods. Well, Hoodoo can put it up, but I mean, are they expensive to get like the permanent?
I looked
lights?
at some of those, and I think like a long strand is like $300. So it's, in the long run.
Yeah, it's an investment.
Well, that's to buy them, but
to install it.
I mean, I like one. You're just using those plastic clips on your gutter. Trust me, I've been there, man. Those things rot. They fall off. One of them falls off. Then your wife starts bitching at you to get up there and fix the one spot that doesn't match the others. What I want to know is, the ones that are really good, they're like professionally installed. You can't see them unless they're on. I'll bet you those are like 10 grand. I mean, I bet you they're really expensive, but I really am interested in those.
And that's Throwdowns. Thanks, Heartland Tire and Auto.
Sponsor shout out of the day is Heartland Tire and Auto. And Andy, my son Cade, had a coupon for like a 50% off oil change somewhere else. I won't mention who it was. So he goes to get the oil change somewhere other than Heartland, and he leaves there with complete anxiety because they told him he needs
upselling
like
the hell out of them.
7 different things that total $700 or something. So he's really, he's 23 years old. So money is not plentiful right now. So I said, look, go to Heartland. They know you there. And they do. See Kelly, have him look the car over. He'll tell you honestly what you actually need done. Maybe it is all the same, but you want to go to a reputable place, and Travis Kelly and the gang at Heartland Tire and Auto will shoot you straight. So Cade has an appointment Monday, taking his car by there to find out what he actually needs. Yeah. Thank you, Heartland Tire and Auto.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm not going to tell you, your Johnson rod is down to 5 millimeters and it should be at least 7. So we're going to have to replace that Johnson rod.
Yeah, the Johnson rod. Let's get some more here on a Friday. No Scott School today.
But wait, there's more from Either Or Eatery and Patio.
All right, so tomorrow night, Either Or is debuting Tinsel. It's holiday pop-up, Christmas pop-up. It's not really a Thanksgiving pop-up. It's a Christmas pop-up. I'm excited. I'm going to go check it out. It's all decorated. They have an all-new cocktail menu, new items on the appetizer and entree menu, and all of these vintage decorations everywhere. Channing Jack designed the whole thing. It's supposed to look really, really cool and just kind of give the whole place, which already was very high on atmosphere, an entirely new one there for the holidays. So that's at Either Or 6222 Grand Avenue. Well, Murph, another week in Des Moines and another get and go robbed.
Jeez. I do. This has become a source of some amusement, but I also try to remember that if you're working behind the register, this is, I'm sure, frightening when somebody comes in and robs.
Terrifying.
Terrifying.
Absolutely.
Sure.
People
strengthen the word.
Pointing weapons at you. Absolutely.
Yes.
Those guys don't get paid enough to do that. I cannot. No. How in the world does Get and Go get insurance? What insurance carrier would take them on as a client? What? Who in the world would they get robbed all the time? People are brandishing weapons. Somebody's going to get killed in there.
They're
going to get their ass sued off. How has that not already happened?
And I mean, there would be cameras everywhere by now, right?
So what? It's not stopping anything.
Gee, I know. I thought I was overestimating or hyper imagining how much this happens. And then the Moore team gave those stats in one of our previous shows. These places are robbed a lot.
15, 16 times a year. They're on a string this year. They're piling up. I can't believe sometimes the same location will get hit twice. This was Van Winkle. This was a guy who came in with a knife. This was the second time, in a week that he robbed a Get and Go. Is that right? Or he hit
second
the same
time in the last year, I think. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Hit the same location. This guy came in and he was like, yeah, sorry, I have to do this. or sorry about this, but I have to do it. He pulls out a knife and robs the place. Get and go is just, it's not get and go, it's getting robbed. 𝗙MC Insurance Company has won approval to hoist a 500 square foot illuminated sign at the top of its downtown Des Moines corporate headquarters at 700 Walnut Street. That is the building that many of us know as the Absolute Vodka building.
That is what I've always known it as. Yes.
Yeah. It's one of the most distinctive buildings in Des Moines.
It's a beautiful building.
Man, 𝗙MC is just spraying their logo all over the place. I mean, they're like lifting their leg all over the other buildings downtown.
Moving
they got
into the Hy-Vee Hall.
Hy-Vee Hall. They're putting that big thing up on the top. I mean, I see that, though. Don't you think like AMC, like the theater?
I think of E = MC squared.
Or emergency medical something.
Yeah.
Emergency medical center. Yeah. I mean, it's an insurance. Yeah. It's going to be on the Hy-Vee Hall there. They got another one there. All right. Let us make time now on Murph and Andy to salute former Montana Tech football coach, Bob the Sound Machine Green.
Montana Tech opens up their football season tomorrow at home on Bob Green Field. And what better way to kick off the Digger season than to honor legendary Coach Green. So we dove into our archives to bring you the best of Bob Green and what we call his Greenisms.
The key to the win was that the Diggers took control early. Kind of like when you get married. That first day, your wife takes control early. And that's what the Diggers did. Our football team was like the kid that plays second French horn in the school band. We got to play better. And that's a double-edged sword, It's kind of like watching your mother-in-law go off a cliff in a Cadillac. You got mixed feelings. He's like that black lab on the first day of pheasant hunting season. He was pulling at the chain. We're kind of like a woodpecker in a petrified forest. Just keep busy and look for opportunities. I wanted to raise my kids using a depth chart. Can you imagine that? I wanted that. Pam Green vetoed that idea. I got a short memory, just like when I was in the 3rd grade. 2 of the best years of my life. I don't like that bottled water. I like that butte water. You get to eat and drink at the same time. Some aspects look like we're really ready to play. A couple other aspects look like we just got off Willie Nelson's tour bus. His attitude's positive. He thinks he could take on hell with a squirt gun. It's kind of like that T-bone steak dinner with all the trimmings. They played a complete game. With Jacksonville, what more can happen? Jacksonville's so bad they sentence prisoners to attend the games. Everybody expects you to win. My wife couldn't go to church with me on Sunday, and everybody said, "Where is she?" I said, "She doesn't go out with losers." I had a 6 ACT in 1967. One time I got an A, and my grandma beat me for cheating. All the calls I made on 4th down all those years, you know what my favorite 4th down call was?
What?
Punt. It was the most successful play we had.
That guy's great. Outstanding.
I'd never seen that
before. Best play was punt.
Yeah. This is a guy, if you are the local sportscaster, you just ask the question and stay out of the way.
Yeah, like Mike Leach, where the guys were just lined up. They wanted a one-on-one with him. They wanted to make sure that they got really good sound, because anytime I can only imagine the best part of covering Montana Tech was talking to Bob the Sound Machine Green. All right, an Air Portugal flight was grounded shortly after takeoff after 132 hamsters on board escaped and began running around the cabin. Yeah,
that
there he
would
is.
freak people out.
The plane had to return to the airport in Lisbon and then sit there for 4 days as they tracked down every single hamster. They were bound for pet stores in another city in Portugal. We had some hamsters when I was a kid, and I think we had 3 of them. 2 of them escaped. One of them never did found, but another one escaped. And I was like, I'm going to say a prayer that we find coconut. And my parents were like, yeah, all right, we'll give it a try, see if that helps. And I did. And then one morning, it was a miracle. Here comes coconut. Like walking along the baseboard in the family room.
Wow.
It was like weeks later. And we found the hamster, put her back in the cage. Escaped again. Hamsters don't really want to be your pet. Which you don't ever see them out in the wild or anything, so I don't really know what the point is, but they're just always trying to escape. I'm not
we got our
surprised
kids hamsters one Christmas morning. Got a good video of their excitement about those hamsters, and I think they enjoyed them for at least a day.
Yeah, they're not great pets. They're just not. Sometimes, Murph, I got to say, you find a social media meme that is just perfect. Look at this. My favorite childhood memory is somebody else cooking dinner for me every night. Boom.
I'm still living that
Perfect.
memory, I must admit.
Yeah, but somebody you at the time you never really realized just how you could be appreciative, but you didn't realize how good that was.
I absolutely
making
took it
dinner
for granted how much my mom and dad did for me completely. And my mom, and I think this is part of why I'm a pretty predictable eater, but we had a 7-night rotation.
Yeah.
And it was
we did
those
too.
7 meals every week. There was spaghetti night, there was fish sticks night, there was spam and au gratin potatoes night. We had set meals every night of the week, and there was no negotiating of you want this or this.
No, that was it.
Oh, you don't like that? It's like, here's your dinner.
Guess you're going hungry.
We ate it.
Yeah, we did that too. But, even when you went out to dinner, the times you'd go out to dinner, somebody else paid for you to go out to dinner. Oh, my God. What was I thinking? I didn't just thank the hell out of my parents every single minute. Oh, my God. Totally different world now. Scientists in Siberia have announced the discovery of an almost perfectly preserved, mummified front half of a baby saber-toothed cat. It's a picture of it. It's the one on the top here. You can see how similar it is to a baby African lion, a modern lion there on the bottom. Wow. It is the most intact specimen ever discovered by far. If you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, you're going to want to Google search this. It's kind of crazy. They found this. It still has all its bones, its muscle tissue, its teeth, claws, and as you can see, hair. It was discovered back in 2020, but paleontologists are weird like that. They discover something and then they don't say anything about it for a while. They study it. Yeah, 4 years. Yeah, they study it, they verify it. They want to make sure. I'm sure they want to make sure it's totally real. But then they finally announce it, and I think they announce it in such a way that they can get all the credit for it. Their institution can get a ton of credit for it. So Iowa State, Matt Van Winkle. Do you know Dr. Matt Hill up at?
You've done some
Iowa
stories
State?
with him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way I know him. I've heard his name.
He's a really interesting guy. He's a fun dude. He doesn't look like a paleontologist. He just looks like a cool guy. He's got kind of long hair and he dresses well, and he seems like a big sports fan, beer drinker. But in his free time, he goes and he walks through creeks in Iowa looking for fossils, like mammoth bones and stuff. He finds stuff all over the place. It's amazing. Iowa actually has a super rich history of all kinds of giant land mammals back in the day. Prayers up for Matt Zuccarello of the Minnesota Wild. Ooh. This look on this guy's face here, I think men can look at this and ballpark a guess as to what's wrong with Matt Zuccarello.
Nut shot.
Oh my God. The worst ever. Here it is. A little right in the nuts. A wrist shot off the stick of Montreal's Brock Faber hits him so hard in the crotch that it dents Zuccarello's cup and ruptured his testicle.
Oh, that has to be on the pain scale of 10.
It hurts to say, doesn't it? I mean, it ruptured his testicle. Now, he thought initially he might actually lose the testicle, but the doctors were able to save the testicle, and now he's still got 2 testicles. But one testicle of the 2 is so sore he can't lift anything because he had a ruptured testicle.
Jeez.
Finally, we'll end with this week's word of the week. It is sacrifice. And that's something that you absolutely must do, even though you absolutely hate it, you dread it, you try to avoid it, you feel like it might not be worth living through. Like doing your taxes, taking that long sensitivity training course at work that the company makes you do every year.
Good example.
Sitting through your yearly review with your boss, talking to your spouse about money, having Thanksgiving with relatives that you can't stand, having your teeth cleaned with that scraper.
These are maybe too many examples here. This sounds almost cathartic.
You're making a sacrifice. You know you have to do it. You might even be good for you. It doesn't mean you have to like it. And that's your more, everybody.
Thanks to our title sponsors here on Murph and Andy, BMW of Des Moines and Ramsey Subaru. Appreciate all the years that you've been with us. And it is
Subaru weather.
It's
right now.
Yeah, Subaru weather,
we're gonna have
BMW
snow
of Des Moines.
next week.
Need the all-wheel vehicle.
The X-Drive weather.
I did look up, Andy, how many times I bought gas this year. So it's 5 times with the hybrid. Five tanks of gas this year.
Plug-in hybrids, man. I want one.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Hurry up and make one of those, Subaru.
Thaddeus asks about the Cyhawk wrestling match, which is tomorrow night. This kind of sneaks up on some people. It's tomorrow night, Iowa State Wrestling. All the Cyhawk events this year take place in Iowa City. So it's at Carver Hawkeye. Iowa's ranked 2nd. Iowa State, I think, is 11th after a loss. But Cyhawk Wrestling, it is on BTN Plus, and that's what Thaddeus and many others are kind of frustrated by that, because say you're a Cyclone fan, you in all likelihood don't have BTN Plus, and you don't want BTN Plus, except for this one time. But this is the deal that was made. You know, you take the money from the broadcasting networks. As I've said many times, you will play when they say, where they say, and on what platform they say. It's not fan friendly at times. And wrestling, as much as it's a passionate sport for so many here in Iowa, it is a niche sport. So it's not going to be put on a national, easily accessible platform.
And you know, I mean, we're old enough to easily remember a time where you just didn't get a lot of games or matches. Everything wasn't televised.
We're spoiled now, and
you felt very fortunate when things are televised. And yeah, we are spoiled, but we had it for a while there, though, where it felt like kind of we had it all. Everything was televised. It was all at a good time, and it all seemed to be on a network that we already got and didn't have to pay for before it's streaming.
I won't be watching that either, because I'll be at the Liverpool Legends. Time now for the Andrew Downs audio drop of the day. We call it the AD Squared. It is presented by Game Day Men's Health. AD is getting all teed up for his Las Vegas trip. I'm sure photos and videos are coming out of this trip that everybody is on, seemingly, but the 3 of us. Matt, even though AD's gone, has he left behind the...
He did. He left behind
Iowa
a gift for us.
Unnecessary Censorship?
He did. He left behind the This Week in Iowa Unnecessary Censorship. Is presented by Game Day Men's Health, locations in Ankeny, West Des Moines, and North Liberty for those in Eastern Iowa. Again, what you hear is on you, not on us. It's This Week in Iowa Unnecessary Censorship.
To watch Mike Tyson at age 58, a near senior citizen, against a guy known for men in their 40s and 50s. And now Evander Holyfield says he wants to Mike Tyson. Please, for the love of God, no.
I'm totally out.
Would you watch Jake Paul Ed Wilson?
I mean, would I watch? Yeah. I mean, I watch a car wreck. I don't want to see it happen.
But it ends up kind of being fun that we all went through it together.
Yeah, it's a story.
Warning shot to Netflix. Get this figured out before the Chiefs play the Steelers.
Can you imagine what it's like right now? Unrivaled has probably got a team whose sole assignment is to Caitlin Clark.
Please like and subscribe. It helps this local product stay local. We're so glad you were a part of this crazy today. Oh, man.
Follow Caitlin Clark.
Follow. Jeez.
Walked right into that one.
AD did that and then got out of town. That whole thing.
Yeah,
so
he kind of hotboxed us.
Gee, he did hotbox us. Saw that Murph and Andy logo on Unnecessary Censorship. And a reminder, the merch store, the long-awaited merch store, is open at iowaeverywhere.com. Up at the top, you just click store. Takes you in for this gear. There's hats, crew necks, hoodies, T-shirts, whiskey glass. Shipping is $5 regardless of how much you get. And if you order before December 6th, delivery anywhere in the United States before Christmas. And
we came in here, Murph, and we showed the rest of these guys, Van Winkle included, what good merch is, right? I mean, we picked good hats. Those are great hats. See that Murph and Andy hat there?
Yeah, but
that's called a Richardson 112.
The rope hat ruins this whole
rope
thing.
Hats are so stupid. That's a good hat. And, we have good taste in T-shirts. The rest of these guys, they all wanted, the big boxy foldable stuff.
Right.
We showed them the good T-shirts. We showed them the good hoodies. We classed up the joint.
Yeah, I remember Matt saying, "Oh, I want my hoodie to be kind of scratchy, and boxy, not the soft cotton."
No, Williams wanted nothing but tank tops.
Yeah, Hassel said, when I put a shirt or a hoodie in the wash, when it comes out, I want it to be like half the size it was before. We said, no, it's not how we do it at Murph and Andy.
No,
the stuff's not going to shrink. We want it to be soft and comfortable and fit well.
Somewhat fitted. Yeah. You want a good looking, real, like it should feel like a favorite blanket, the shirt, right? I mean, it should be so soft.
Yeah, you're welcome, Matt.
Well, we should give shout outs to Boz and Joe Beeger, who designed the Two Guys logo, and then AD, obviously, for getting this up. I know you guys give him a hard time, but props to AD for getting this up for us. We've had a lot of sales already, so we're excited to get this out.
Good. We love AD, but Matt, you did a great job today, and it's just always a pleasure to be with you. Didn't miss Sipker, but did miss AD. Glad to have you. Quickie poll is presented by 𝗙cie Pools and Spas.
Wow, almost 1,400 votes in this quickie poll. A lot of people have an opinion on this. 41. I'm sorry. With whom would you most like to party in Las Vegas?
Thank you for the correct grammar.
Yeah. 41% say Chris and Chris, which
two guys are killing it.
I don't think you really understand what you're getting into there.
No, they don't understand.
Yeah, that's false advertising. 30% say Murph and Andy. 22% say Sipker and Ross Peterson, which I think I would pick those two just to stand back and watch them. AD, Van Winkle, and Aiden, keep trying, guys. Thanks for playing. 7%.
Yeah, we're the supporting cast anyway. That's all right.
I think it's Aiden, no drinking, no gambling, which makes him the most responsible person at Iowa Everywhere. And you need a guy like that. I mean, you need a nice guy that stays out of trouble. So I don't think that should be an elimination for Aiden. And I have a question about
we'd be
this
like
poll.
the three guys in The Hangover. So AD would be like the big guy. What's his name again?
Zach
Galifianakis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aiden would be the guy that's getting married. The guy that doesn't want to get in trouble. And I guess I'd be Bradley Cooper.
You're the suave.
You're Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. Yeah.
Maybe you're Ed Helms. I don't know.
Nice try.
Yeah, good try there, Matt Van Winkle. By the way, just a question on this, Andy, because you always think these polls out a level that I don't. If I were to vote for Sipker and Ross, is there any way I can just break off with Ross, or do I have to have both of them with me?
Well, Andrew would kind of float over and join that crowd. It would be Andrew and Sipker and Ross. And those three would, they would go find a weed joint on the strip there or off the strip and hole up for a while. There would be some funny conversation. That would be a fun trip. I hope they have a really, really good time. We appreciate 𝗀𝗏 bringing us out there, bringing our people out there. Maybe next time they could do something like this when it's not during the television ratings book.
It'd be great.
But we appreciate them being able to go along and have fun with us.
I love all those guys. I appreciate all of them, and we appreciate being here. The answer, 𝗀𝗏 the cat, is I think the over-under for how many times I'd mention I'll be at Liverpool Legends instead of being able to watch the Iowa State football game was 5. But I just mentioned it again. I think the over hit. Hey, thank you for being part of
Can I
Murph
interject
Andy.
one more time?
This is already the longest show we've ever done.
I know. From my wife, 𝗀𝗏, how come the Iowa Everywhere wives aren't in the poll? Have a feeling everybody would pick us.
Do you really want to put a poll out there that involves the wives? I don't want to see those responses.
Well, it's just a yes or no, isn't it? I mean, they're not talking. People don't get to make lewd comments or anything.
I've seen some really mean comments aimed at me.
That poll, they would run away with that.
Yeah, they would.
They would
if it was them
run away
against
with
us, no contest there.
We don't want to lose. That's why we didn't put that in there.
All right, everybody have a great weekend. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Andy. Search Iowa everywhere to find us. Please like and subscribe. It helps this local product stay local. We're back Monday. Have a great weekend. We hope you're back Monday, too.